easy to sing that. Oh, oh. That's about it for me. That would have been it. That would have been the song, those two notes. So good morning again. Thank you, ladies. Exquisite. Judy, beautiful. So be still our hearts and souls, because that's truly the message of today. Damien, I appreciate his reading, because my intention today is to share something that really speaks to the spiritual journey in such a way that we've been traveling together for many years, some of us, and I appreciate seeing your faces here today, and then some of the new faces as we launch on a journey and take our steps together. This idea of not fooling ourselves on the spiritual journey. So the reading, Ernest Holmes, is very powerful in those statements and those quotations that Damien was giving such emphasis to, because, and I'm going to speak to it about spiritual bypassing, and it's an interesting topic because you might find yourself going, oh, I think I'm doing that a little bit. There's ways that when something happens and it's too hard to absorb, too hard to really take in. One of the writers that I was studying said, well, I can't take it, so I reach for Eckhart Tolle, or I go turn on Oprah, or I do something so I don't have to think about it. And I put their thoughts in there. You know, if we don't let ourselves feel, really feel, this God-given heart of ours that has emotion and feeling, and we just bypass it, where are we? Where are we on the journey? Those teachings are there as tools for us to lean into, but we also have to do some of our own personal work. So that's the challenge that I speak of today. And the quotes that he shared come from Living the Science of Mind, is the text that we're using. And very important for us to realize this. It is all about us. It's all about us. And it's all about the world. It's all about humanity. It's all about how our hearts integrate into one. So body, mind, and spirit for ourselves, body, mind, and spirit for our world. And where are we with that? How have we gotten to where we've gotten today? In what's in our news, in what's in our planet, in what's in our air, our waters, our children, our animals, our politics, our nations, all for us to stand in the middle of it all and do something, be something. Be the change, as Gandhi says, be the change, and it's a razor's edge that we're walking. It's a razor's edge. And it's a joy to see Genevieve is here. I think she's still here. She got back from camp. She spoke to us before she left. She came back just a light. So I know that a week they were working these tools. They were working themselves. And now she's back to share that journey, to be an ambassador of that truth. And that's what we're all here doing. And one of the chief aspects of spiritual mind healing is to relieve our minds of fear. So we invite people, if you need prayer, please come. Please come forward after services and we will know the truth with you. We know it for you and we know it with you. But then you have to leave and do your work and to remember the truth and to remember I am body, mind, and soul. I am that. And so the soul is perfect. The soul is love. The soul is this knowing inside of us that is never touched by fear, that is never complaining, that is never sick, harmed in any way. This soul, this spirit, this self, this divine self, this part, this seed of God that dwells within each one of us, as us, dwells within us. We know that is where we go into prayer. And we remember this perfection, this seed of truth dwells within each one of us. And there we build our faith. Outside of that, and along with that, is our body and our mind, right? We've got this body, we've got this mind, and we've got this, we've got our perceptual world, and we've all been receiving different information all along the way. Different parents, different teachers, different influences, different ideas, different right and wrongs. And then we try to all get along with the mind in our bodies. And then the soul beating love, beating truth, beating wisdom, telling us, I think it's time to be quiet here. I think this is a time to speak up truth. So the chief opportunity with any spiritual mind treatment is to bring it forth. Bring forth those feelings. Bring forth your truth. Bring it forth. See it, feel it, know it, and then we can do something with it. So he goes on to say, we compose the thought and permit it to reflect the deep inner feeling that comes from conscious union with spirit. Science and religion should walk hand in hand in the accomplishments of this purpose. So, as stated by Damien in those readings, we work hand in hand with science. We work hand in hand with knowing that what it takes to be healthy, we need that. So, with that knowing, I've worked with many people that continue to harm their body with substances that are known to be a poor influence on your body. For example, we'll just go for one of the big ones, heroin, or as mild as it might seem, the cigarette smoking. And so you say, but my soul is untouched by that. That is true. That is true. But if you want the true deep healing, those substances must go. And you must stand in a truth where the divine is that influence. The divine is giving you that high, that truth, that glory. So it comes in all these ways, and we're reminding ourselves as we speak today, this is a call to action as we look. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're learning in our wisdom and in our way how we can speak with authority of faith of our wholeness with this deep self, uniting body, mind, and spirit. We humble ourselves to how true this is, and the invitation is to keep placing ourselves in the shoes of another, because what's called for here is compassion. Compassion, and when we really experience the door of our heart and we open to the truth of compassion, and we stand in the way of another to see what they see, to hear what they hear, to listen with that divine ear, where the soul says we are one here. We can find common ground here. So we don't want to sidestep any of the feelings in the name of trying to be enlightened. That's what spiritual bypassing is. We want to look wise, so we're going to try to say all the right things, even if we don't feel it. Even if we're having judgment in the moment, or anger. Oh, I don't want to feel that. That's not good. They're going to think less of me if I show any anger. But sometimes it takes the anger to root ourselves into the solid ground on which upon we want to stand to see a greater outcome. So in the name of being enlightened, we have to be careful that we don't avoid strategies to avoid any pain the rest of our life. This causes a shadow of spirituality, and all things have a shadow. And all masters speak to it as an exaggerated form of detachment, an overemphasizing of the positive. And you know that when you get that in your face. It's going to be all right. And no, it's not. This sucks. And you realize, no, this isn't good for me. I'm afraid. What you say there is not a healing, positive statement. You say, dear one, share your pain, share with me, let me know. Let me feel what you feel. Let me understand what you feel. And then together, hand in hand, heart to heart, we will know together, and we will rise into the name of love, into that soul spirit that dwells within each and every one of us. And there we will speak our truth. There we will unite body, mind, and spirit and have an answer. So sometimes people get so afraid. Oh, no, God, give me a pill. I'm feeling depression and I'm feeling a little anger. Doctor, I need a pill. Or I need a drink. Or I need something. I've got anxiety. I've got thoughts. Yeah. Wow, you're a human being living in a world that is so conflicted because everybody's having the same thing you are. Thoughts. Oh my God, thoughts. They're coming from every direction. Another opinion. I loved the days of Walter Cronkite. There was one man, one bit of news. And I thought, okay, I have an understanding. Now you have some news and a panel. And in that panel, diverse opinions. And you walk away going, hate this world. What's it coming to? Well, is that where we want to leave it? And I can't tell you how many counselings I've been doing on people being separated from their loved ones because of news, because of politics. And there's no goody-goody two-shoes that we can put on here to not know that that's not in our face. But we dive in deeper, and what's in all of that? There's humanity, and there's some suffering going on. And if we don't allow ourselves to go and feel it, and then to rise up from love and speak to it. Marianne Williamson is very much of a social activist, and she speaks to this truth. She's a wonderful person to feel that you can get behind some power, because she's inviting us, find your cause, find it, stand in it. It's like if you're an animal lover, go out there and find your kitten. You know, it's like, don't go, oh, maybe somebody else will take that on. You know, there's all of us to take it on. We're in this all together. There is only one when we speak to that level. So I'm asking us to look at where we have allowed our boundaries to be drawn, and where we have allowed ourselves to be a little diluted in our spiritual authority over something. Is it true? Is it absolutely true? Are some of the questions. We've been trying to avoid certain aspects of life. We're trying to avoid pain. And in that avoidance, we have what they call a premature transcendence. Because are you really standing on solid ground? And yes, sometimes you are. Sometimes you absolutely are when you unite body, mind, and spirit. But if the mind is still like, I don't know, I'm still a little annoyed about that, and I could really criticize them for that, feel it. Feel it is the invitation. Life is presenting itself as an invitation for us to really, really feel the fullness of it. We're using this idea of spiritual bypassing, and it was a term coined by a Buddhist, actually, from spiritual materialism way back when, because he could see this happening when we decided to turn away from the world's suffering and tried to just stay in our little bubbles of the world that we were creating, that is a wonderful world in our spiritual practices, but we want to see ourselves also out there serving and doing the walk. There was a quote saying that the more we use the mind to approach our soul, the further our soul can feel. But the moment we drop our thoughts and allow ourselves to really feel our soul, suddenly we're home again. So you can see, think of it like this. When you chase the sun on the horizon thinking that you will reach it, you never will, because it's an illusion. But when you stop and you feel the presence shining on your skin already, you're no longer chasing anything. You're one with it. Very Zen-ish, because you think, oh, there I am. Oh, there I go. Spiritual bypassing. And this idea and how there's traps in how we sabotage our spiritual growth. And I found these, in particular, the trap of spiritual bypassing. It's used to avoid, suppress, or escape certain emotions or situations in life. Common is numbing our emotions through spiritualized repression and avoidance, unhealthy obsession and attachment to the positive, adopting a passive-aggressive nice mask. Are you ever done that? Now, I'm not saying these like I can feel the energy in the room, like, she's hurting my feelings a little bit, because I mean it when I'm positive. I do too. I mean it from the depth of my soul when I truly speak from there. But at home, in my own personal work, there's some tantrums going on inside this mind. There's some, stomping my feet. That's not right. That's not right. Find the way. That's when you dive into the prayer, into the heart of your prayers. I don't know, but God knows. I don't know the answer here, but God knows. It's my favorite go-to. I don't know. I don't know. So much we don't know. But God knows. And what is God? God is love. God is that vast, spacious grace that we lean into. Another one is debilitating judgment about one's own negativity. We get an anger phobia. We have blind or excessively tolerant compassion to the detriment of yourself. We're forcefully trying to kill the ego, condemning the ego as being bad or evil. We have exaggerated detachment. We get stuck in theoretical spirituality and dogmatic beliefs about truth. We deny our self-responsibility by placing it on something other. We have delusions of having arrived at a higher place of being. Now it goes all across the board. I immersed myself in this message today, all through the week, listening to people, listening to myself, listening to where we all are in this world together at this time. All that is happening in our humanity is a call for us to slow down, stay in the heart, and feel what's there. We don't want to just be using our spiritual practices to escape anything that's unpleasant. We want to use our practices to awaken ourselves so that we can be ambassadors of truth. So you can see I'm speaking to something like, maybe you're saying, well, what is the answer? Where do we go? How do we do this? We do it together. We do it together by being willing to have the conversations, to be willing to recognize, as the Dalai Lama says, that pain, the adversity of pain, is really our teacher. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of a diagnosis. Don't be afraid of a troubled relationship that you might be in. Find truth in it. Find your power in it. Stand in it and feel it. And then rise up as we lean into one another to find our way, because life is presenting itself as an invitation for you to live fully. We cannot reject ourselves. We need to learn in a way to start to trust the emotional body. Emotions can run us wild just as thoughts can run us wild. But then we stay settled. We stay with it long enough until the emotion settles into a bath of truth. And we can just lay in that until we find resolution. It is the human condition that we are seeing in our world, and it's moving through us. Let it move through us. I spoke to that at our class on vital energy, because there's so many things that we just can't hardly absorb the suffering anymore. And so we turn away, we turn off. But the invitation is that Tonglen practice. Let me breathe this in. Let me swirl it in the heart knowing of me. and let me transmute it, transform it in a blessing of grace as it releases from me through the next breath I take. We take and we give back a blessing instead of a curse or a criticism or a complaint. There's where we are finding ourselves too many times, caught in the complaint and the criticism, and they're doing it. And we need to, I can't even say that. There's no shoulds here. Even the shoulds trap us on the spiritual journey, because then we're going, man, I screwed up again. No, you didn't. You're being a human. And you're remembering, deep inside of me is the soul that knows. And I am here to allow this divine faith to be a part of the compassion in the world as a profound healing is made manifest. Quimby and Ernest Holmes did a lot of this work, and Quimby was one of the first teachers of true healing, and they speak with this authority of faith in the wholeness. We humble ourselves in its vast truth. We place ourselves in the other's position, entering the thoughts and feelings with true compassion and empathy. We're not caught, but we are a seer and a deep listener, and bring a higher understanding of truth, aligning with the heartstrings of our being. Now, one of my favorite authors, Stephen Levine, writes Turning Towards the Mystery, and he speaks eloquently of pain in itself. It is evident if you have a body, if you have a mind, you will have pain. The physical pain was due to sensations too large to pass effortlessly through the nerve net of the body, but the mental pain was due to the absence of a deeper truth. Pain reminded me there was more to heal than I knew hurt. When I touched my pain, the pain, with fear, there was pity. But when I received it with mercy, when I received my pain with mercy, there was compassion. When I saw it as my pain alone, I experienced self-pity. I shrank into grief. But when I recognized it as a pain we all share, I expanded into something universal. It was clear that despite what pain repeatedly suggested to me, I was not simply that. I was neither body nor mind. And there's this other beautiful passage I want to share. Pain does not, though it does have its benefits, as the Dalai Lama has pointed out, if it were not for pain, there would be no compassion. Pain draws compassion like its opposite, stillness, draws wisdom. Pain also attracts grief, both the unresolved loss of loved ones as well as our weary, everyday, ordinary grief. The incessant lamentation of our wounded sense of self enunciates itself the closer to pain we get. Perhaps around physical pain is noticed mental pain, doubt, fear, anger, remorse. Momentary pain calls lifetime suffering out of the woodwork. Don't you want to call it forth? Don't let it be buried, where it leaves its stink later on and it surprises you. As we allow this mercy to infuse the space in which pain is floating, great relief will be found, and unexpected levels of healing are exposed. Pain does not cry out only for the absence of pain. It calls for peace in which not only this hurt, but all hurt might be met with mercy rather than fear, with kindness and clarity. There was something within pain that counseled me to be merciful. It displayed how hard I was on myself, how rarely I touched my pain or anyone's pain with kindness. It defined healing as mercy and awareness as it entered those areas of my mind and body from which I had fearfully withdrawn. When we soften around pain, the armoring around the heart begins to melt, and the resistance that converts pain to suffering diminishes. Freud says neurosis is a refusal to suffer. Though he rarely acknowledged the mystery, he, like 1,000 Buddhist meditating masters, remind us of the pain that ends pain, that somewhat painful opening to our long imprisoned wounds, exposing the condition beneath the pain, supports and maintains suffering to the healing light of merciful awareness. Nothing turns pain to suffering like anger. conditioning sends aversion, even disgust, to the stubbed toe, and we tighten. We have forgotten compassion when it is most called for. We might curse the stubbed toe and go deaf to its pleas for mercy. We harden to it. We send hatred to it. Even the most peace-loving persons may think cruelly of pain and aggressively push some part of themselves away. But remember the heart we can soften and let the sensation emanate from the stubbed toe, dissipate like fading sparks of a Roman candle descending through deep space. We can send blessings instead of fear to the pain and turn towards the throb as towards the mystery with openness and clear intentions. Not having that, not knowing what comes next, trusting the process, listening in a gradually deepening silence in our hearts we may hear. And this was where I think is so important for all of us, whatever you're in. May you get the most out of this as possible. Whatever's going on in humanity, in the world, may we see as much as we can, it is possible, to bring a level of deep, absolute healing to all nations, all people, all animals, all food, all water, all air. You find your cause, and you stand in a truth, and you do your personal work to feel what strikes your heart, what is yours to do. As we clear away and decide, I'm going to stand in the light. I'm going to allow grace and mercy to anoint my spiritual practice so that I stand in the shoes of another's suffering so that I may find my way. I may find how love truly prevails. There lies my faith, my truth, and I can be all Pollyannish as I want with that because I know it works for me. This love is all we've got. And so as we join together through the love of Judy, as she plays the keys, it melts away. It melts away the resistance we even might feel in this moment to the message that is coming your way. Your ears will hear what I say, but I invite you to feel what I say, to find your way, your truth. There is only one divine, absolute love. Shift your body and allow it to pour through every cell in your being. Let down the boundaries you've shaped around you. Let down, let go. And free yourself into that beautiful field of vast love. Be the one immersed in the sun, feeling all there is to feel, and then knowing what true divine light is. It is the love, it is the divine, it is the message. And then established, each and every one of us, anointed with that truth, with that compassion, with that grace, with that love, we feel what is in my world. What is mine to do? What is mine to see? What must I say? And I'm no longer blocked by fear, blinded by opinions. I am just one with love. And I take all that I see and I place it at the altar in the doorway of my heart. And each one of us here has that same invitation to take all that there is to the very level of the heart. And there we feel, and there we breathe. The breath is right there. And we send out a message to the world that we care, that we deeply care. And the breath is deeper. And we're anointed with a sense of deep abiding peace. We walk the razor's edge. And we listen to the divine inspiration of truth. And we do what we can do. And then we lay it down, only to pick it up again. Thank you, God. So much to feel. So much to feel. So much to see. We welcome. We welcome the love. And we follow the evolution of suffering into understanding. Our hearts are open. We walk with compassion. I give thanks for the people here that hear the words and move and follow their heart. I release this just knowing it's already so. Love fills this room. And so it is. Thank you.